Hello everybody, my name is Gerben de Vries and welcome to Conscious Yes. I would like to talk to you about spirituality, about the matters of the heart and the matters of the mind, the inner world, which I think is so important and often overlooked and not taken seriously and brushed aside and escaped from. And there's so many reasons to escape and so many fun places to escape too, right? In the way of drugs and entertainment, there's a huge business in escaping from life, escaping from oneself, escaping from one's own inner world. And some people, they get bored with it. Some people, they see the traps, they see the limits and the smallness of that world, the smallness of the world that we escape into, the bubble that is out there for us to escape into. It's very small, very limited. It's so focused on gratification, it's so focused on one's own pleasures, which usually lay into the future, right? They lay into a mental idea that we have out there that we will never arrive at, because it's romantic ideas of where one could be. And therefore, actually, spirituality is so dangerous. It is so much more dangerous than the projections that are going on for people that are completely not concerned with their inner world, right? Because there's so much to escape into. It is dangerous because now we all of a sudden have these ideas to escape to that are spiritual. Spiritual in the way of enlightenment, awakening. And we learn a lot about what that looks like and what that feels like, what kind of emotions go with that. And it's again an escapism into something else, right? We want to not be where we are, not have to deal with life, and we'd like to be in a place that feels more pleasant. And oh my gosh, the enlightenment, what people talk about, these gurus about feeling happy all the time, no suffering, nirvana and blissful this and blissful that, and humming all sorts of harmonious Indian tunes and angels playing on your spiritual path and all that jazz, right? So in that way, spirituality becomes becomes dangerous, because we want to achieve something, right? We want to again have something else. Have something, right? Have something. And that wanting to have, desire, wanting something, has brought about a lot of damage, right? The mind wanting something, the mind identifying with something and saying, I must have that, right? Because the gun against our head, the gun that thought, that desire puts against our head of having to have something, it's very strong, right? It's very, very convincing that we need something. When we want something, there's a desire that comes up, and it inflares our whole system, right? It's almost painful. There's a degree of suffering that comes with desiring, right? And I don't want to say that desiring is wrong, because that's very far from the truth. But look at how religions, how a desire has been trying to be suppressed. Monks, how we cannot have certain desires, not, in the way of sex in the religion, and acting certain ways. And, there's this whole idea of this libidinous, crazy, angry, scary, undisciplined monster inside of ourselves, this energy of the devil basically inside of ourselves that has all sorts of desires that have to be suppressed, right? And there's something to the mind, when the mind really focuses on something, when the mind has a certain desire where it wants something, and it completely believes it, and it takes certain action towards it, the triangle of acting or of desire, believing in it, and acting, it's very strong, right? That we can achieve so much in that way. Like Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can achieve, whatever the mind can perceive and conceive, it can achieve. So it's an incredible strong force that can have a lot of momentum and can get a lot done. And so a lot got done in the world, right? We're doing constantly, there's a lot going on, action taking place. But from where does this action arise, right? Because the desire can come up and be a total natural thing, right? Because you have certain wants and needs and completely healthy. Preferences. But then the mind comes in, the thought comes in, and pretty much puts a gun against your head to have something. Because it sees itself with whatever you desire. And there's that link again with the ego, with oneself, right? Where you see yourself like a picture in another picture, but that idea of having a lot of money, of having that speedboat, of having something, a piece of clothing, a new laptop, all that stuff. You see yourself with it. And there's that pull of, like, I have to have that, right? Because you feel empty, you feel like you've lost something if you don't have that. That looks really good. The other picture looks really good. And there you look complete. You feel in your idea, in your mental projection, and a romantic idea, you feel complete for a moment. You feel happy. And that's that pursuit of that happiness, right? So you have an idea and you see yourself being happy there. And so thought goes like, oh, shit, I have to get there, because if I don't, I'm losing something, which feels like dying. And so there's that gun against the head of thought, like, I have to get there. This is crucial, that we get this iPad, whatever. And we all have our different desires that we act on. It doesn't have to be material things in that way, perhaps, It can be desires towards other things. Mental ideas. Mental ideas are in many ways much more dangerous, like we said with spirituality. Because then there's desire to waken up, which can be very natural and very beautiful. But it's also in your way. And then there's the desire to wake up, but the desire actually stands in the way of waking up, right? So we all have to find for ourselves the balance between where desire is healthy, normal. You desire certain food, you have natural preferences. You desire a good life for yourself. We have some money in the bank. You have some gold, whatever, do you know? You're wealthy in the sense of yourself and your family, your friends, your whatever wealth for you means, right? And we can desire that and be completely healthy. So at which point does it become unhealthy? Because really, when we achieve something, when we get the thing that we want, it is not the thing that gives us pleasure. Instead, it's the release. It's thought lowering the gun against our head that brings us the idea of pleasure. And we wanted something so badly, and then we got it. And the so badly is what gives this sense of I don't have it, so I don't feel complete. Therefore, you feel, you're in this imaginary time, psychological time, like I'll be happy if I get this, right? I'll be happy when I have my car, when I have this better job, when I have more money, all that stuff, when I have my perfect partner, right? And so we delay ourselves because we have identified it with a certain picture of what life should look like. How's that working out for you, right? How's that working out? And we all have our different desires and things that we want, right? Even it sounds so admirable to search enlightenment, and I let go of all my material possessions and all that romantic baloney. It's still the same movement, which is okay. It's fine. It's what's going on. It's the fact. But can you see the truth and the false? Can you see how we operate, which is the truth? Huh? It's factually how it is. But can you see the false in it? So we want something. Thought comes in. And it says, I need that to feel complete, to feel alive. Puts a gun against your head, like you have to go get it. So there's this incredible, that is all the energy that says like, I have to, and I don't feel complete right now. I feel restless and I need to get somewhere. And then getting the car, the release that we feel is actually the release from desire. It's not the car. Something outside of you cannot give you something in that way, right? It all comes from you. It's like the love we feel for somebody else that's in you. It's not somebody giving you anything, right? It's all mental ideas that we have. And it's so interesting to find all these mental projections, these mental pictures that we carry with us, where we think it's separate outside of ourselves, where we think it's that person, where we think it's that object, that idea, where we think it's enlightenment, or that some that is out there to be achieved, to be gotten. And when we chase mental pictures, it becomes even more dangerous. That's what I mean with spirituality being dangerous. Because mental pictures, we can, when I say I want to be enlightened, that's an idea that I can never achieve. If I say I want that car, I can at least get the car, right? I can get $100,000 if that's my goal, if that's my desire. But enlightenment is not something that one can get, right? It's not tangible. It's not like, oh, yeah, I found it. It's this little, yeah, there it is. I found it somewhere. So desire is very important to look at. And when we see ourselves, when we see these movements in ourselves, what is important is not to judge, not to fall into the trap of having certain ideas about it. You've gathered certain ideas maybe by looking at yourself, by looking at your own desires, how they originate, how your eyes find an object, and then there's the huge that imagining oneself with that object or with that person, or to not judge that, right? The trap is to judge it with what you've learned, spiritual ideas or anything like that. Ideas about right and wrong, good and bad, ethics, horribly dangerous, right, in that way. When we go back into judging, because we think we can learn in that way, that's how we normally learn, yes, through judgment. measuring something. I've gone over in different videos, like in the physical realm, very necessary, natural, healthy, sane, and on the psychological realm, very destructive. And we all for ourselves have to find the effects of that, how we operate, the outcome of that, the way that we function in that way. The judging psychologically about myself, what that does to me, right? So how desire moves is very important. Hope this has been helpful to you. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good day. Bye.